Hi, I'm Chef Joe with Healthy Kids Inc. and today we're going to be making black bean burgers with sweet potato waffle fries. So all we've done in advance here is cut these up into our waffle shapes, just rounds, waffle sliced. We've got them seasoned with just a touch of chili powder. I threw in a little bit of salt, pepper, olive oil. Our oven is preheated to 450 degrees and we're going to throw these in and bake them until they're nice and crisp and golden brown. Maybe 15 to 20 minutes depending on the size of the potato slices. So we'll come back and check those in just a little bit. Alright, so the next thing, we've got one, I have a small saute pan heating up here with just a touch of oil or even nonstick spray would work here. Don't need much because we're going to render the fat out of some really nice seasoned turkey sausage. So there really shouldn't be too much fat, but if there is any that comes off, all you have to do is drain it off and then you're good to go. So you'll get all the flavor you need. So we're going to start by browning this up. This is a nicely seasoned sausage. It's got a lot of paprika, cumin, salt, pepper, a little bit of spice to it, so it'll add a lot of flavor. And do this just until it starts to brown up. Then we're going to throw in some onions and garlic and saute those as well. This is going to get mixed in with our black beans to make our burgers. Alright, so we're going to let this work for just a few minutes. Okay, so once our sausage has had a little bit of a chance to cook, doesn't even have to cook all the way through, you want to go ahead and add in your onions and garlic. We'll start to let those saute in as well. And the next step is once we get our onions and garlic where we want it, we're going to pull this off of the heat, let it cool slightly, and we'll combine it with our black beans that you see here that are already cooked and we've drained them. And that is going to become the base for our burgers. We're also going to throw in, we've got a little bit of egg white, some lime juice, we've got some chopped cilantro, we've got some cumin and some chili powder that are going to flavor it up really nice and well too. Certainly why they need to invent smell-o-vision so you can smell what we're cooking here in the kitchen. Maybe one day we'll get that advanced. Just a couple more minutes on this and then we can pull it off and begin to form our patties once it cools. Just want to do this long enough for your onions to kind of soften up. It normally takes 3 to 4 minutes or so, depending on the size of your dice. Alright, so now we're where we want it. We're going to kill the heat. I'm going to throw this into another bowl to allow it to start to cool so it doesn't cook anymore in the pan. And I'm going to put this in the refrigerator to speed up the cooling process, and we'll come back in just a couple of minutes and show you the rest. Alright, so we've pulled our sausage mixture out of the fridge. It's cooled enough that we can work with it. I've got it here in our larger mixing bowl. I'm going to go ahead and combine our black beans into that. We're going to start adding our seasoning. Got some cumin, a bit of chili powder. Fresh chopped cilantro. We've got our egg white to act as a binder. And let's get some lime juice here. Alright, so we're going to begin to stir this mixture together. We also have some cornmeal here that we're going to use to kind of dry this mixture out. You could also use panko breadcrumbs if you find that your mixture is just a little bit too wet. You can dry it out with that, or some whole wheat cracker crumbs. Anything like that would work. And a pinch. We've got all of that in there, and add a little bit more cilantro. Okay. So I'm going to add a little bit of our cornmeal. Stir it in. You can see this mixture is already hugging up on itself pretty well. Put a little bit more in. We are going to dust the outside of these with cornmeal too at the end, and that'll help them kind of brown up a little bit. Okay, that looks about where we want it. Now I'm going to dust my work surface with some of the cornmeal. I always throw cornmeal down too when I'm making pizzas. Something that kind of helps it brown up just a little bit. You can throw it on the work table with a little bit of flour when you're rolling out your dough. Gives it just a little bit more texture. It's kind of nice. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is make sure that my hands are nice and dusted. I'll take a bit of this mixture. Okay, so if you run into the problem that I've just run into, which could easily happen, our mixture was just a little bit too wet. So we had to add in some additional cornmeal or some dry breadcrumbs just to firm this mixture up a little bit more. And once I got into this recipe, I started to think that potentially something that you could do is form this mixture up, add your breadcrumbs or your cornmeal, patty them out if they're cooperating, and wrap them in saran wrap. Place them in the refrigerator for 30 minutes to an hour, allow them to firm up, and then you could add them to the pan. And that might help. Or if not, you could just go ahead and make this entire mixture, set the entire mixture in the fridge, let it firm up, and then patty them out later. Sometimes when you get into recipes like this, you have to see that you need to make some small adjustments, but nothing that we can't handle. So these are coming out actually much nicer. So we're dusting them with the cornmeal. That's going to help them to brown as well. So we've got our nice patties here. We're going to let these rest for just a few minutes before I add them to the pan to begin cooking. And we'll show you that here in just a couple of minutes. Alright, so our sweet potato fries are nice and golden brown, as you can see. Set those out, ready to go. Smoking hot pan here ready for our burgers. I'm going to transfer over here. Let them set. Now I'm going to add them to the pan. You can shake off any excess cornmeal. And drop them in. Don't want to overcrowd the pan, so I'm just going to start with 2. Cook them in batches, or you could use a larger pan. At the end, we've got a mixture of yogurt and sour cream that we're going to top them with. I'm just going to hit these with just a little bit of oil. Good to go. So let this cook. Alright, so I'm giving these burgers a quick flip. Okay, so this is just about it. We've got a nice little crust on top and on the bottom with the cornmeal. That's what you need with a burger like this that primarily has vegetable matter and not just meat. They don't always crisp up the same way, but that's exactly what we need. So we're going to pull these out and plate them up and show you the finished product in just a couple of minutes.